Is that the Nashville
What?
Symphony?
What is happening?
Phillip.
Babe, this is a big day.
I hear an oboe.
I know everybody got up early this morning. Well, I wonder, are they going live today? Is this the big day?
There's the French horn.
That's a French horn.
Hear ye, hear ye.
This is season 3.
Or Trace.
Trace of 2 Bottles Deep. This is our season premiere. We are so freaking excited.
So excited.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. It has been a long 3 months.
It really has.
Since we've talked to y'all, and we are elated to be back.
We are elated, and we are on video.
Yeah, so y'all listening, our friends over at iHeart and Apple Podcasts and Spotify and Overcast and everywhere you get podcasts, find us on the YouTube channel.
Yes, it is 2
Yes.
Bottles Deep. Come check us out.
There you go.
So you may hear us referring to things that you can't see if you're listening, on your typical way to listen.
Yes.
So we want you to go to YouTube and watch some of these videos and interact with us there too. So
like our friend Tiffany up in Illinois, she listens to us on the way to work. Our friend Bobby Joe writes in a lot. And guess what? They're friends.
Yeah.
And now that when they get to work, you listen to us on the way, and now you just log in and don't even work. Just log into 2 Bottles Deep on your YouTube station. And
the other reason to tune into 2 Bottles Deep on YouTube is you're missing out on some amazing outfits.
Guy. Well, okay. So Phillip did give me a heads up. He's like, we're doing cameras this year. Let's go. Let's party. Let's blow the first one out of the water. We had the orchestra. So that's number 1. But if you'd log in, his outfit is amazing.
I am in full silver sequined. It's jazzy, it's snazzy, it's giving me.
I love it.
Yeah. And Wes went with a doo-doo brown.
I have a brown sweater. I never wear brown. And I
said, "What did you bring? What else? What are the options?" He was
like, brown sweater.
This sweater,
and I had a blue sweater as well. So brown. But look, if you move the mic, it has buttons. Really,
it looks good.
Really, yeah, but not for a debut episode. Hey, the next time I might wear a cowboy hat, sunglasses. You never know what we're going to be wearing on here. So get ready.
This is season 3. This first episode, we wanted to just welcome everybody back, kind of talk a little bit about what to expect this season. We've got a little bit to talk about as well. But we've already mentioned we're on YouTube. I hate to keep saying that, but it's very important.
Yeah, that's a fun thing.
Please go check us out there. Subscribe to us on YouTube. That way you'll know when some of our content comes out. We will continue to release the same amount of episodes weekly. Yeah. Most of them will be video. There may be some that are audio, just depending on the situation. But we'll still be doing Wednesday releases.
Nothing changing there every Wednesday.
Yeah. And we of course want you to interact with us as much as possible. That's where all these mailbag episodes, these wonderful mailbag episodes that y'all love, that's where we're getting them from. So make sure you reach out. You've got our Gmail, 2bottlesdeep@gmail.com, on YouTube at the number 2 Bottles Deep. Or you can get into our DMs, Facebook. You can send a carrier pigeon, a fax.
Yeah, a fax says that's a lot of fun. I don't like technology, so the carrier pigeon, I do love. Speaking of episodes and people writing in, a lot of our shows the last couple of years have come from y'all. So we love some guests were mentioned to come on, and they've been on the show. So we absolutely love that. We are going to mix it up, just doing us, and then a couple times a month having a guest on. Some really great episodes coming up, but check some of our old.
That's a good point too. Yeah, go back and listen to every single episode.
Yeah, every episode.
Unless we're going on a date.
We're
going to talk about that because that ends up being an issue.
Yeah, that the dating part is an issue. We'll talk about that here in a little bit.
But it's been a few months since you and I have really sat down. We've practiced a few times, but we're so good at this, we don't really need it. So tell me what's been going on. I know for me, there's been quite a bit of stuff.
I can imagine.
I started stand-up classes.
Thank God. This world needs you on stage, Phillip. Tell me how they're going.
It's going great. It is completely intimidating. It's so strange because I feel like I'm a pretty confident, not cocky at any. I'm not cocky. Sometimes I pretend to be, but I'm not. I'm confident that I'm good at what I do. This is something that was not that situation. Yeah. I walk in, total strangers. There's a guy in there that's done stand up in LA. As soon as he said that, I was like, I'm out. I mean, there's no way I can compare to this. And the very first day, this was the embarrassing part. The instructor's like, Phillip, why don't you write some jokes about horses? And I'm like, well, I mean, I kind of grew up on a horse farm. I guess I could. How hard can it be? Very hard. I bombed.
Yeah.
Literally bombed, blew it, embarrassed myself. No one laughed. It was like,
tell us a joke, Phil.
Well, that's the thing. Like I could, the joke that I came up with. Okay, this is really bad. But could you still laugh at it, please? When I do?
I'm already laughing.
I don't remember exactly because I was in a blackout because I was so anxious. But it was something like, I'm sure I'm glad horses don't do stand up. Because when I came out on stage, you told me to break a leg. So can you imagine? And then I alluded to some like high-end dog food joke, and people in the audience were like, we're moving on.
The old pedigree. Yeah, because when you break a leg, they shoot you.
Yeah.
Don't you?
Thanks for explaining the joke.
That's why I'm the comedian here.
So anyway, it's going good. But next, the next class, I have to do a 5-minute set on, and I'm not doing a joke. I'm not going to give you any of these jokes because I'm working on them. On Uber. I'm doing 5 minutes on Uber.
Oh,
so
okay.
I'll
but
let
it's
you
got
know.
to be hard to be like, all right, go, be creative. Like a lot of this stuff, I think, comes from either co-writing or being around friends and be like, oh my God, that landed. It's got to be hard to sit down and just write jokes, right?
100%. And just because you're funny, like you've had these situations, like I'll be out and Wes will be on. And somebody be like, "Oh, Wes, you should do stand up, right?" It just seems like and the response should be no.
Yeah,
no, not just him, but like
a group. You command stages. Like we've been at many places downtown and anywhere really in Dallas and wherever we've traveled.
Probably the
outfit. And it's probably the outfit. But you command people. But you can still command people, and stand up is still totally different because that's you. You're not like you're not interacting as a group. Everybody's watching you up on a stage. So I think you can do it. I am so excited. I know everybody that knows you is so excited, and those that listen that may not know you are still excited because the feedback we get is Phillip is hilarious. How do you not laugh? Like the promo pictures we take with our guest here, like there's 40 takes because we're laughing so hard to get one picture. That's you, Phil. And you're going to kill it.
I appreciate it. And also, I would just say when you go see a stand-up comedian, think about the fact that it's taken months of writing and saying it out loud and being vulnerable and messing up and all that. I have a lot more understanding. I'm getting a lot more understanding. So,
hey,
go a little easy.
And when they do a 30 to 40-minute set, I'm like,
you know how many jokes that is?
That's like 20 years of material that you have to really. But that we're going to see Nate Bargatze here at Bridgestone Arena. He's
doing great, right? He's from Nashville. Well, Old Hickory.
Yeah, he grew up here in the area, and super excited to see him. Hey, I'll tell you, I went to a show.
Comedy.
Mother and father were in town.
That's
no,
right.
Not comedy. We would go to a comedy show. The Zanies here is amazing. But we went, and I've never taken them to TLR, the listening room.
Oh,
it's like the Total Request Live, that's TRL, TLR, and it's much like the Bluebird. The Bluebird has a much bigger name, but the listening room is downtown. Our buddy Jake Hoot, who's going to be on the show this year.
Yes,
Jake's going to be on talking about his songwriting and his voice stardom. He was there not long ago. Went and saw him. And then I'm like, this place would be great to take my parents. So I was at work, and it was a few days before mom and dad came down. And I'm like, I'm going to buy some tickets. I'm going to be pretty cool. Get us in. I mean, those places sell out. Nashville singer-songwriter, they sell out a long time. Found some tickets. Boom, boom, boom. Bought them. So we show up on a Saturday night. We went out to dinner. And we get there, whatever. And I'm like, yeah, 3 tickets. Wes Schmitz are like,
oh gosh,
we have a John Schmitz here. And I said,
you're like,
no. Hey, it's weird they have another Schmitz in the crowd. First of all, second of all, I'm like, nope. Here it is. You got you. And they're like, those were for Wednesday night.
Oh no,
dude, this place is hard to get into. And I'm like, what am I going to do with my parents now on a Saturday? I was so excited. Yes. And then I was nice to him. I'm like, no, but I have tickets. But I was kind of like, I have tickets. They're right here. And she's like, yeah, Wednesday night. And
so
I had logged on Wednesday to buy them for Saturday, and I didn't change the date. And the lady's like, get you in at the bar. So we actually got bar seats, and it was really cool. So if you're ever in town, go to the listening room
Yeah.
and make sure when you're on the listening room website, you buy the tickets for the correct night.
It's the listening room. Do they have assigned seats, or is it just like
They
kind of filter in and sit wherever?
No, they kind of assign. You don't like pick a seat when you just like order 3 tickets or 4 tickets, and then they sit you at a table. It's much like the Bluebird. You're sitting very close to people, much like Zanies. You have waiters or waitresses walking through the crowd.
Okay,
like it's so tight in there because they get so many people in.
Did you just immediately assume that they were wrong? Right?
Yes, I did.
You're like, nope. This is obviously your issue.
Got the confirmation.
Yeah.
Which I did for the night. But that's where you be nice to people, because I was about to be like, you're wrong. But I'm like, oh, actually, ma'am, I have him right here. She's like, actually. So it wasn't in the presentation. She was like, common mistake. I said, is it? Or you trying to make me feel better?
Right.
But she did. And the guy from Little Texas was there. So there's songwriters, and they announce who's going to be there, but you don't know any of them, right? And then they get up there and they start singing these songs. You're like, oh my God, you wrote that. It's like a Tim McGraw hit. But Little Texas was there. Remember, they said, God bless Texas, his own hand got something from the promised land.
I feel like I just made that.
They were, but they were huge in the 90s, but he was a founding member. And then there were 3 other writers on around. They just literally, they each hold a guitar and sing their songs, and they tell the story about the song. So they go in order. And that's a truly Nashville experience. So that was kind of fun.
I was glad. I know you were glad your parents were here.
We had a great time.
Yeah. Dating. I am back. I'm not. I know people are like, "What's going on with Phillip and dating?"
The phone lines are blowing up.
Right now. Yeah. So I'm back. Trying to date. I'm on a few of the apps. I have narrowed it down. I'm doing Tinder, Hinge, Bumble. I think that's all of it. I'm not on Grindr. I'm not opposed to Grindr. I'm not saying it's bad. That's not what I'm looking for. My big issue, I haven't gone on a ton of dates. I've been on 2 dates in the last maybe 4 months. But the thing I'm running into, and I don't know with you, Wes, if you're seeing this too, are like the bots or the fake people that are on dating apps. This has happened multiple times to me, where it'll be like this. The most recent one was an Italian chef, and I'm like, I'm all in. I've always wanted to marry like somebody that likes food, and that's from Europe. That was my fantasy. Right. And I'm like, all in. 3 days after talking, it was a little weird, like the conversation. Guess what he wants to talk about? Cryptocurrency. I'm like, and then he wouldn't shut up about it. I'm like, look.
So is he trying to get you to buy it? I never understand.
He's like, should we go to WhatsApp? And in my mind, I know it's wrong. I know he's a bot, but he's hot. So I'm like,
you can't
the 1% chance that he is just a cryptocurrency exchanger or something. I'm like, please don't be that. And then he's like, you ever talk to your friends about crypto? I'm like, no, because that's boring.
Phillip's now in a pyramid scheme.
Yeah. So dating,
selling our bond.
Yeah, you got to do it. That's where I am. Are you? What are you doing? Are you? You were on the dating apps there.
I was,
because I ran into you on Tinder.
Oh yeah,
I was like, Phillip, what do you do on this one? I do like him, but not like that. But I'm
like, I could text him, but why not message him on Tinder?
Right.
Yeah, I've been planning some solo trips. The single life has been a challenge. It's been rough a little bit, and we haven't aired an episode since I've been single, so we can definitely talk about that. But definitely planning some solo trips. I was on the apps for a while, and it's a lot. I think it's a lot for, I'm on a computer and a phone all day for work. So then I was finding myself for like 3 weeks into this new year trying to focus.
Yeah.
And then I'm at night, 3 hours go by. It's almost like a TikTok rabbit hole, right? Or Instagram Reels or Facebook, whatever. I'm just I'm not anti-technology. I'm trying to get out of it. How do you stay connected in a world that's full of artificial intelligence and, connecting with people, your friends all over the country? But then I don't want Instagram. So, or Facebook.
Yeah.
So let's roll over to dating apps. And it's just been tiring, But I love going on dates. I mean, dates have become kind of boring. It's like coffee. And now I'm back into, I thought I was going to spend my life with someone. Now I'm back to what's your favorite color and where do you like to travel? And, especially at 42, I'm over it.
Are you still using the charity event as a way to get out of a date?
I do. Yeah.
It's one of my favorite moves that Wes moved that he uses.
Check it out, y'all. You set up a coffee date.
Yep.
You don't do dinner first because then you're stuck for an hour and a half, depending on where you go to dinner. And I do coffee, and I always have an appointment after. I always have my charity meeting after. And usually
they're like,
I
you
don't
have so much charity
a lot of
meeting.
charity work, right?
And you're always 4 minutes late.
It's really it's not really a lie, but I'm like, oh, I can fit in coffee. It's Saturday. Oh, I have the gym and now I'm going here. But why don't we meet early afternoon for coffee? Because I feel like, that dating service, you read about it on the planes in the magazine called It's Just Lunch.
Yes.
I want to do that. I want 20 minutes with you.
It's just
and
coffee.
You probably want 20 minutes with me, and that's it. Is there that connection there? 2 minutes.
Yeah.
So there, I always have an out, and I think you all should always have an out. And that's
we should all have a charity event on the verge of starting.
I have my charity.
Yeah,
I have my charity event, but charity meeting. Right, we're planning for this year's event. But I went on a date with. Have I told you? I don't know.
I don't remember any story involving you going on a date.
Went on a date, and this guy all of a sudden was Jesus all the way in, and Yahweh and Sabiah or whoever he was talking about. And I'm not making fun of religion. I'm trying to remember what he was talking about.
Yahweh.
I think it's another name for Jesus. Okay. So anyway, and I knew he was religious. We met on Bumble. Really attractive guy, really nice. And so we were, small talk and whatever. He's like, what was your favorite candy as a kid? When we were like texting, voice messaging. If you don't voice message with me before we meet, you're out. Like, I have to hear your voice, right? So anyway, we get to Starbucks, obviously, coffee, first round. And he brought some like Easter egg peanut butter cups, which I'm like, oh God, I love him already. This is so
great.
Did
you tell him that's what you liked?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
So peanut butter. Had the conversation.
Yes.
And he shows up. Sorry, mispronoun.
He showed up. It's still not really as comfortable in his skin, I don't think, but talked about Jesus a lot. I just didn't feel like the whole chemistry was there. Yeah. Phil.
Hand raise over here. Does he walk in displaying the eggs?
No.
Or were they in his pocket? Were they melted?
No, they weren't melted, but he presented. It's not like he walked in and presented them, but he had those. And I'm like, oh, that's really, really sweet.
What did you bring to the date?
Nothing. I did not bring anything. I think he bought my coffee.
He did?
Yeah, he probably did.
But Yahweh
did. Like Yahweh did.
Yahweh got it.
It was his peace offering, right? But other than that, then afterwards, I sent a nice voice memo the next morning that said, hey, it was so great. I just don't think I'm in a space to date.
Hey, Wes here. Just not interested in your Yahweh.
And overall, it was, he was upset. And then he's like, oh, you're on Tinder too and all this. And I'm like, dude, I don't even know your middle name. Yeah. And that's what dating is. So it should be fun. You shouldn't talk about the past. You should get to know someone. Dates should be fun. They should be uplifting and outgoing, and go to a ropes course, go to a painting class, do something fun after the coffee date. But I'm not opposed to doing oh, but God, if you're at a painting thing, you're stuck there for a couple hours.
Oh, you could take a seizure. Could always be an emergency. Another charity event at 2 a.m. But anyway, the thing I'm running into is, and I think you may have alluded to this in the past, is because we talk about a lot of stuff on these episodes. If I mention to somebody that I have a podcast, and I probably sometimes do it to brag, like it sounds good to some people. Other people you do it to, and they're like, everybody has a podcast. Shut up. But if you mention it and then they go and listen, then they've got all this information.
Oh, you dated so-and-so.
All this stories. And I don't know anything about them. So that happened. I went on a date. It's been a while, but second date. And during the date, I'm gay. He brought up the fact that, with the podcast, and he was like, you mentioned such and such. I'm like, well, that's not fair. Like, I don't know anything about you, and you know every story.
Yeah. Especially if they start season 1. We were in, that was 2-3 years ago.
I talk about poop in the bed and
you have some great stories.
Yeah, but some of them you just don't like. Those stories you don't give out, like
no,
beginning.
Not soon.
And so anyway, I'm not going to tell anybody. I'm going to mention the podcast like once, they buy me dinner.
I don't. Yeah.
Or something.
I don't. I'm the same kind of mindset with you. Because people are like, oh, is this date gonna be on an episode? Or
that was
and
I'm gonna talk about this.
And I was actually on a date, and they had mentioned something about the podcast and something I had said and whatever. And I'm like, yeah. Or you get hit up and they're like, oh, you're the podcast guy. I'm like, well, wow, we're kind of known here. I like it.
Or not. They never respond back after the second date.
Somebody's got a story.
Still see him out in public.
Oh, I got a story about her later too, but that's off air.
Speaking of embarrassing stories.
Oh God. I do want to, you mentioned charity. I do have to get this out there real quick. Can I say that?
Yeah. Are you a charity case?
So I don't have a charity event in 4 minutes. We had our call last week, and ironically it was not after a date.
Who was our call? What does that mean?
Country for a Cause is back this year. This is our 9th year for Country for a Cause. We raise money for Children's Miracle Network. Phillip, we'd love to have you and the gang out this year for it. Tickets are more expensive for you because you're a big podcaster. Yeah. But all the money goes to Children's Miracle Network, and we are going to have some big names. And that's coming up June 7th, the day before CMA Fest kicks off. Everybody's in town, and this will be at 3rd and Lindsley. More stuff to come soon on that.
Let me know my song set and how many songs you want me to do.
You'll be in the audience this one. Yeah, we're gonna have some celebrity clientele.
I've got a charity event that night. I'm not gonna be able to make it.
Give us an example of what you could bring to the table.
Oh, singing wise?
Yeah.
Maybe lock them doors and turn them lights down low.
Ooh, is that Josh Turner
in
a sequins coat over there? Well, okay, so I interrupted you. You have a story here.
Okay,
and I'm so excited.
I take Uber pretty regularly, which typically means I drink a lot. But I'm responsible, and by responsible I mean I take Uber, right?
Amen.
And it's funny. Going to a bar, wherever I'm going, I always take like the low end vehicle, right? It doesn't matter, whatever's the cheapest. But then after a drink or two, is when it's time to get an Uber, honey.
Uber Black.
I am a freaking millionaire. Like I am Uber Black luxury.
It's only $30 more.
It'll be like $64 or $12. I'm like, I worked extra last week. Yeah. It's fine. I mean, I can do this.
It's payday.
Yeah, it's fine. So I get into a Uber Black. This is not bragging at all because I waste money. I get into an Uber Black. It's late. It's maybe 2-ish, and I had been out most of the day in the afternoon, so I was tired and intoxicated. I'm not going to lie about that. So we're on their way to the house, and I'm in the back of this massive Uber Black vehicle, and I pass out or go to sleep. That sounds better. I was taking a nap. I paid a man to drive me home while I napped. And so
you do sleep better in a car.
I do. Like a kid, I'm immediately asleep. So I don't realize at that point that he is getting into traffic on Ellington Parkway, and traffic is so bad that he has to come to a stop. So when he stops, and I kind of, sit up and wake up, I think I'm home. So I open the door and I get out and
on a road.
Yeah. And I do my typical, I'm like, thank you so much. 5 stars across the board, which I don't even know what that means. Like there's only 1 star to give. Like it's 1 5-star. So I'm like 5 stars across the board. At this point, he's worried about my safety because I'm getting out of the vehicle on a main thoroughfare. And he gets out. He's like, sir. And my brain interprets that as robbery. So I am convinced I'm being robbed. I take off running. I run. I jump a ditch and I run.
Yeah, your Ellington Parkway is a highway.
Jumped a ditch, run into the woods, and I'm in the woods behind a tree. Like,
no, dude. 2 a.m.
And at this point, my brain's like, real quick, you are in the woods. It is 3 a.m. and you have 12% battery left. What's happening? And the guy's out. He's like, hello. hello. And obviously drives off as he should. So I'm just sitting in the woods.
So you ran up the embankment into the woods.
Into the woods. Yeah.
How far from home?
Well, an hour and 20 minutes I walk. It's
No.
cold. We're talking, and I'm not, it's not a brag because I'm freezing to death. I looked cute. I have a great scarf. It's my new thing this year.
Out
Scarves.
of the woods.
They were like, wow, that's the hottest serial killer I've ever seen. Yeah, I walked home and I get home and it's like, by this point, it's like 6, sun's coming up. And I'm just like, no wonder my Uber rating's so bad. Like,
what do you say?
Can you imagine the driver? He's like, well,
where did this
guy in the back and he jumped out and ran.
Yeah, his wife, he went home from work and woke his wife up and had to tell her.
Not gonna believe this.
She's like, I will. What's gonna top it? Whoa, that did top it.
Right.
Correction.
So I'm so embarrassed to take. I don't take Uber Black now. I'll just do like the normal ones, like a Toyota Sienna or whatever that is.
Well, but you got home. You're safe and sound. Thank God, because there would be no season 3 without.
Well, you could
Philippe.
Do it.
That was a wink into the camera. So yeah, that's wild. That's dude. Can you follow up with said Uber driver, or no?
Once
send a message.
Once you send the message, once the ride's complete, I don't think you can message them. So I just kind of put it out into the wilderness. I'm like, dear Amway or Zayway or whatever, whatever his name was. So yeah. Super Bowl. Did you watch the Super Bowl? I know we're a little late, but you and I have not discussed the Super Bowl.
I have some comments about it. Hey, it was okay. The game itself, super, super great game. Do you agree?
Yeah, I was for the Kansas City Chiefs only because everybody at the party was for the Eagles. And I love controversy, so I was like, "Go Chiefs!" Mahomes or
Patrick Mahomes, whose dad I believe was a professional baseball player. So he's got some athleticism in his genes as we do. So a lot in common with him if he can come on the show. Great. That the last play it came down to, I mean, there was a holding pass interference call against the Eagles. I thought it was legit. A lot of people did not. I think it's back and forth. I have not heard the player commentary about it, but the 2 announcers I thought did great this year. Don't know who they were. Don't remember, but they did a great job commenting the game, calling the game, whatever you say it.
I know people were a little upset about that. I was upset for a different reason.
Definitely not the national anthem that Chris Stapleton killed.
I'm gonna tell you, other than the fact that he had sunglasses on the whole time, I'm not saying it's disrespectful. I just wanted to see his eyes. It was hard for me to tell his face, and I like to see people's eyes. Yeah, but I thought his version was right below Whitney's in terms of like unique a take on the anthem. So you go, Chris Stapleton.
He's like Eric Church, the sunglasses, Bocephus, Hank Williams Jr.
That's
same thing. They that's their look. They love that look. Whatever reason it is. I did see a comment from a friend of mine who's an American lover, and she actually did not like his version because it wasn't the same tempo. It wasn't the horns and the stuff. She's like, he did a great job. She actually had great conversation. She had put a post on Facebook, and in it, a lot of posts will be like, well, you're horrible and you're a bitch and you can't think that you're un-American. All her friends actually had a great conversation about that part. And it was a different anthem. I really liked it. I liked it was slowed down. I liked it was just him and a guitar.
Yeah.
And again, when you have the planes fly over, that gives you chills all the time. I don't know why, but it always gives me chills and I like it.
Well, I mean, everybody's going to have an opinion on that, just like they had an opinion on the halftime show. Before we get into our opinion on that, the controversy or the reason people were upset at the party I was at. So it is a mixed group of people, gay and straight, pretty evenly balanced. And at most Super Bowl parties, all the straights are all in. Well, the straight men are all into the game, and the women and gay men are talking about like how to make rotel and what looks good as a centerpiece. And as we get closer, to halftime, the gays start making their way onto the couches and making straight men stand in the back because we're here for the actual show. So we're like 1 minute away from the Rihanna halftime show, and they're doing the countdown. They're like moments away from the Rihanna countdown. People, I'm in front row. They start the countdown. It's 3, 2. It's literally as soon as the show's about to start, a child at the party, I'm assuming, hit a remote. And it switched to like a telenovela type story. So you've got like this Spanish stuff going. People lost their minds. Scream, gays are jumping, diving, all this stuff's going on. So we missed the first 2 minutes.
You couldn't find the remote.
So I couldn't find the remote. And I went back and watched it, of course. But I was trying to, I was pretending like I didn't care. I was just like, it's just the halftime show. 11 minutes.
My life is over.
So anyway, what were your thoughts, Wes? What was your take on Rihanna, her halftime show?
I think a lot of times we compare, and I compared it to years past, specifically last year with 50 Cent, Ja Rule, Dr. Dre, Snoop Doggy Dogg was there. And I think
the way you say that is so white. Snoop Doggy
raising
Dogg.
the roof, y'all. That was, and again, that's not my type of music, but it was just so electrifying last year. And I didn't really know a lot of those songs, but I was in tune to it. This year, I was not in tune at all. But I will not be a hater. I think she just crossed the billion mark. She's a billionaire with all of her lines and stuff like that. Self-made from Barbados. I think she's amazing. She went through a really, really rough relationship with Chris Brown. She has conquered her industry. She's helping people. She employs a lot of people. And so from a business aspect, I have so much respect for her. I know the Umbrella Ella song, Ella, kind of. But I couldn't get into it. The floating stages were really, really cool. But I didn't get the grabbing, the sexual intent of it. But again, it's I don't want to hate it. And I was seeing all the comments on my friends' news feeds of it's despicable and children are watching this and how dare she? This is the biggest game of the year and it's provocative. I mean, all in all, I think she did a great job. I did not get into it. I don't know if that was contradictory or not, but I didn't get into it. I was excited for the game to come back on, but very talented, and I'm sure she's an awesome person.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. I think if I had come to Earth the day before and never had any experience with a halftime show and watched it for the first time, it's entertaining. Good. Like if you don't know any difference, you're like, I mean, it's super cool. The different levels they were on. I was a little worried they were going to fall off. I think there was one dancer that almost fell off. There was a video about them stepping back and like almost falling. So I thought
she was strapped down. You saw that rope holding her.
I found it. I thought her voice was amazing. I thought she did a great job.
Did she sing?
There's comments that she didn't?
I just couldn't tell. I don't know if there's comments. I was questioning myself. I mean, lip syncing is a thing.
I saw
Macy's
her
Parade. They only lip sync it.
I saw her live maybe 15 years ago in DC. A$AP Rocky opened for her. Subtle brag.
Who?
A$AP Rocky.
Never heard of her.
It's a man.
Is it a DJ?
No.
Oh, all right. A$AP Rocky.
Yeah, you're gonna listen to it all day. Anyway, her live was great. So I'm assuming she was live. Sure. But I thought it was good. I made a comment during as we were watching it. I was like, I said, she looks pregnant, and the girl beside me was like, how dare you? Women who have had children have baby weight. And I'm like, no. I mean, I literally think she's pregnant and she was.
You're in the healthcare field. You would know.
Right. I can tell a woman's pregnant by 20 feet away. But she looked pregnant. And so then I was like, maybe she's moving slower because of that. Maybe she doesn't want to do a lot of dancing. All in all, it was a good show. Wasn't my favorite. Beyonce, she did great.
Well, they did a throwback to 1994, and it was the Judds, Tanya Tucker, and Travis Tritt.
Yes,
I love that throwback video. And it comes down to, do you like that performer or not? You can't say it's a horrible show when 100%. You don't like them. Yeah. I don't care for her stuff. I think she's super talented, but I'm not going to say it was a bad show. I was probably just not interested in it, but it doesn't make her a bad singer. It doesn't make her a bad business person, a bad person.
100%.
I mean, I admire what she's built. She's from Barbados and like self-made, like, Get it, girl. Do it. I love it.
I like my dad's take on it. I asked him, and I knew he wouldn't like it. It's not his genre of music. It's not you know, none of it. And he said, excuse me, he said, I don't know her. I don't know her music. I think she probably did a really good job. I didn't love the way she moved and the way she some of the moves she did. I know what he was talking about. She was kind of a little suggestive, grabbing her crotch and that kind of stuff. I knew that his age range not going to like that. So he didn't hate it. He just was like, that's just not my thing.
Hey, and if we all can have these conversations without, I saw some really nasty comments on Facebook about it.
Twitter
like, you
was
don't even know this
horrible.
Person.
And of course, President Trump he was like, worst Super Bowl history in the history of the world. Shut up.
Yeah, this is coming from a guy who's selling his own NFT cards around Christmas to benefit himself.
Yeah. I love the fact,
and he's fit in them. Like, you're nowhere near that fit in a Superman outfit, you idiot.
And you're also okay with the comment, grab him by the pussy, but then you're not okay with Rihanna grabbing herself. You had a problem with that.
No, it's only okay if he, a white chauvinist pig, can do that to women in privacy, in private or wherever. And but no, women can't do that. Women also can't get abortions concerning to him, even though he's probably paid for a few. And I hope he's not. Let's start this season off right. I hope he does not run for president. I don't think it does the Republican.
Oh, girl, she's running. You know, she will run.
What just that guy is a narcissist. It is what it is. You know.
Speaking of crazy white men, Tennessee has had
the Republicans in Tennessee.
People who are not from this state, maybe you've heard of it, maybe you haven't. There's a news story. Let me play a clip. There was a big news story this week.
Play it.
Okay,
play it.
Let's see.
Bill that would criminalize certain drag shows passed the Tennessee Senate today, leaving it up to the House to decide its fate. State Capitol reporter Chris O'Brien and photojournalist Joe Gregory were there when the vote happened. They take us inside.
Ayes 26, 6 nays.
Senate Bill 3, having received a constitutional majority, is adopted.
You can tell by the way they're
Thursday
talking,
morning, a bill to potentially criminalize certain drag shows took another major step to becoming law as it passed the Senate on a party line vote. It didn't go without argument, though.
This law applies everywhere in our state and puts citizens in a place of calling the police, calling prosecutors anytime they think somebody isn't raising their kids right.
Republicans contend the bill is about protecting children, not an attack on the LGBTQ community.
So this was February 9th when the bill was passed. It passed in the Tennessee House 26-6, very party driven. All Republicans voted for the bill. All Democrats voted against it, which is pretty straightforward. Essentially, the bill classifies male and female impersonators as adult cabaret performers and bans adult-oriented performances that are harmful to minors, as defined in Tennessee's obscenity law. So, for those of you who don't know, Nashville not only has a few gay bars that has drag shows, but one of the big draws here in Nashville are the drag brunches. And whatever your opinion is, there's a lot of Broadway has drag brunches, Midtown has drag brunches, East Nashville has drag brunches. These are not they're not drag brunches at kindergarten. These are not, these are just
right.
Now, can a child walking on Broadway walk by a place and potentially see a drag queen, dropping it low while twerking? Maybe. Can a child also walk on Broadway and see a bachelorette with a penis necklace around her in really short shorts, dropping it down on Broadway and twerking? Yeah.
100%.
So
while drunk and puking.
Yeah. So this is a big issue for us in Tennessee. And Wes, where are you on this? Are you and Wes is I know I'm jumping ahead here. Wes has always he's drag shows. You don't have to love drag shows, but you can still be supportive. You may not love going to them, but you understand they're not their value, but like what they are. It's entertainment.
It's entertainment. Some people are into it. Some people aren't. Some people are into other things and some people aren't.
Yeah.
You know, to your point, walking down the street, you know, if I was with my parents, they would teach me their right from wrong. They're not going to call the cops. They're going to be like, oh, well, some people dress that way and some people live that way.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. We're done. I've been to a Hooters. I've been to a football game. I've seen people in little to no clothes, women in those instances. And I don't know the difference. Now, I think we're going to have a show on this. We're going to have a drag performer on coming up in I'm assuming a few weeks.
Yep.
And you know, how does it affect me? And then how does it affect him? How does it affect our kids? Like it doesn't, I don't know, the teaching right from wrong and them making it a law. Like these people aren't, there's no drag queens that have molested a kid on stage. There's no, I mean, that happens in mostly churches, but I would say, and not every church, I'm not throwing religion under the bus, but it's like, you know, you want to call a spade a spade. Let's see how many drag queens have been arrested for molesting children, and let's see how many priests, because it fucking happens, and you need to take place. And all these people, Marsha Blackburn, I'm not going to call it all the white male Republicans. Let's call out Marsha Blackburn, who does not represent our state very well at all. She's a Trumper. She'll grab people by the pussy. She doesn't care. She throws people out. She's horrible. And you're making laws about adult entertainment when you have strip clubs and bars on every corner. And just last week, the person we're going to have on in a few weeks, Tavares, Vivica Steele, if you want to look her up, she's amazing. She was on the Ryman stage in a beautiful gown. How does that hurt someone? Just because you may not like gay people, just because you may not like drag performers. I don't go to drag shows a lot. I don't go to bars a lot, but God damn it, let people do it. They're not hurting children. Keep it out. If you don't want them at your school where you pay, you know, over at Innsworth, and you're paying 30 grand a year for your kid to go to kindergarten, another 30 grand a year for first grade, and so on. Fine, keep them out of there. That's private. This is public. It has nothing to do with you, and it has nothing to do with your fiction Bible. Get out. Oh my God. Season one off to a hot topic.
It's season 3.
Get out, Marsha Blackburn. Get out. All these people, that guy in Jackson, Tennessee. We had an episode.
Yeah.
He didn't know goddamn
Todd.
he didn't know Pride happened there for 5 years in a row. And he's like, oh, I guess it's happening. We gotta get out of here. No one wants your old ass there. Get the fuck out.
Part of this too is like people, like if I am a person who has never been to a drag show, and someone comes up to me and they say, hey, there's this place I'm going to take you to where men dress in women's clothing. And they're going to gyrate on stage and all that. Like, I can see where you're like, well, that, I don't know, that I'm not sure if that's something I want to take my kids to. Right. But the people making these decisions are, for the most part, people who have never been to see the show. I have been to, this is not even bragging. This shows how bad I am with money sometimes. I've been to so many drag shows. Like, I can talk drag. I know the girls, especially here in Nashville. I can tell you, they are bound by Tennessee liquor laws. Tennessee liquor laws suggest you can't have nudity. You can't. So they are bound by other laws. You don't have to then put another law on top.
Right.
Just because you're uncomfortable.
It's a
just
good
because
point.
you're worried that little Johnny is going to see a drag queen do a flip and want to wear a dress. That's not the drag queen's fault. That's because little Johnny's probably not straight.
Right.
Maybe.
Well, and I've been to a lot of drag shows, and I don't do drag.
Yes, you can
I
be
have
all in,
black
but also
friends, and I haven't turned black. I have straight friends, and I haven't turned straight. Like, just because your kid's going to see the big drag bus going down the street, which is sold out every day, by the way. Great job to them. I mean, they're pumping $13 million into this economy every year, just in Nashville. That's not even anywhere else. You know,
and the number of party buses that have gone by where a group, and it's usually women, because men get drunk and they're just like, wow, you know, they're screaming and going by, pulling their tits out, showing me their tits, pulling their skirt. Like, I'm okay. Like, it doesn't bother me. Whatever. You know, you look ridiculous, but no one's like trying to block straight women at bachelorette parties from having a party bus. No, we want the drag queen who spent 3 hours trying to get covered up and to cover up spots so she looks female. That's what you're worried about. That's your big issue.
Talent. art.
And my big concern is, do you know that this law, it would criminalize the first offense from a drag queen as a misdemeanor. The second offense, a Class E felony.
Yeah, that's 3 to 5 years.
Yeah, 1 to 6 years.
Oh, 1 to 6.
Up to 6 years in prison.
Up to 6 years in prison.
So you want a drag queen to go to prison because she wants to have a drag show to perform Whitney Houston's I Will Always Love You in a park. And you're worried that Johnny is going to see it and be like, oh, Dad, I feel groomed.
My life is ruined.
I feel groomed. I want to wear panties.
Zero grooming.
Shut up. You better
zero grooming.
Teach your children better.
Yeah, zero grooming. I didn't grow up seeing that, hearing that, nothing. And, I turned out fabulous and gay. There's no grooming.
That's the same thing, isn't it? Fabulous and gay.
Yeah, it goes hand in hand. But there's no grooming to this. And I mean, it's 2023. When are we going to stop? It is 2023 now, isn't it?
Yes,
all right.
Yeah.
When are we going to stop just with this grooming stuff? I mean, there's many other places that groom their children. And I hate saying religion because I have a lot of friends who are religious who don't agree with this bill. They agree with equality. They agree with marriage equality. They agree with the health benefits. They agree with everything like that. So I hate saying religion. I just want to put that out there. But there's just so many hypocrites. And I try not to be one. But when you look at religion, you look at the people that have spewed hateful stuff at me because I'm gay, and then I see their family. I'm not going to say her name because she's well known in my hometown, but bring it. Next time you want to say something to me at the Paint and Pride Parade or the Paint at Labor Day Parade. We don't have a Pride Parade.
Oh, I was going to say.
Then we can talk. Okay. Yeah. And you, anyway, but it is hypocrisy.
Well, like you mentioned, we're going to have someone on here very soon to have this discussion and help us kind of think through all the things. And I want to know how it affects the queens in our city. It has to be something that weighs on them.
And if you're out there too, we want to hear your side. Say you do not agree with us right now at all. We want,
please disagree with me.
A civil discussion.
I want to know
on this of how this is going to affect your life. Me being a gay, how is that going to affect your life and your livelihood? Quit knocking on my door and quit putting pamphlets on my door about Yahweh or whoever. Like you gotta stop.
Quit bringing chocolate eggs to a date.
But people think we push this down. No, we just want laws that protect us. This is not pushing an agenda. Again, Stonewall was how many years ago, and we're still fighting for rights.
Well, it's also we're not looking for the opposite. I'm not suggesting that I want a drag show in every restaurant. I don't need that.
Not at all.
I just want you, if you want to dress in drag and walk down Broadway at 4 p.m. on a Sunday, and twerk a little bit, that's okay. That should be okay. Not because the same cis straight girl who's twerking with the penis necklace is doing the same thing. And it doesn't matter.
Blow up. They have the blow up penis.
Oh, I love that one.
And the blow up penis they take around. Yes. Well, this is a energetic start. This is a sparkly start, if you will.
Well, one of us is sparkly.
I'll get more creative. Maybe wear my cowboy hat one time.
Well, I want to say I'm very excited about this season. We've got a lot of good ideas. We're obviously very open to other ideas. And I want to say thank you to people who have given us great ideas.
Yeah.
Yale, our friend Yale, he was on last season talking about surrogacy. He was gracious enough to hook us up with a very wonderful guest, Sarah Cunningham, whose episode will be out very soon regarding her organization, Free Mom Hugs. We've got so many other guests coming.
Episode coming up. A big topic about suicide. A lot's happened here in Nashville this past week. So that one's coming up too. Jake Hoot, Vivica Steele, a lot. Just Phillip and I, of course. Come on, right?
And video.
Get on YouTube.
The YouTube, if you will.
Yes. 2 bottles deep. 2 is the number, bottles deep. Yeah. But when you email us, it's TWObottlesdeep@gmail.com.
We want to keep it confusing.
Or somebody already took it.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. Yeah, that was it.
Couldn't find it. But hey, we're going to make it work. And it's another season. It's a beautiful day here in Nashville. We're going to make it count.
It is fantastic. We are so very excited. So excited.
I hear the Nashville Symphony again.
Oh,
is that
there? They
them,
are.
or
Yes, I think they're out front. It's a marching
we
band.
get this free online?
Probably that. Well, I want to say welcome to season 3. Thank you so much for listening, watching. Please reach out. We love hearing from you guys. Feedback. Send us videos. Send us texts. Carrier pigeons.
Yes.
Don't hate drag queens.
Yes, and get ready for an action-packed season with hard conversation, fun conversations. We're going deep, baby.
We're
2
going
bottles deep.
We're going 2 bottles deep. That's
Oh,
right.
Yeah, we are, bro. Let's
right,
do it. Spread the positive.
Spread the positive.
Thank you, Trent and Stewart, for putting us out there as always. Phillip.
I love you.
Oh, man, you're so shiny. I need my sunglasses.
Oh, thank you.
Look at that sparkle
Next
over there.
week, wear something brighter.
I will do. I love you, buddy.
Love you too, babe. Have a good week.
God bless. Like I'm at Disney. It's a small world after all. You're just looking around on the ride, waving at people. Oh boy, it's getting hot up in here.
Is it?
You should really match my attire. Look at the buttons here. I can't show you. Oh, look at that.
Loosen up your butt.
Can't even see the highlight of the sweater.
Oh,
Phil.
show us your highlight.
I can't. Oh, there
Yeah.
it is.
Zoom in.
There it is. Zoom in.
All right, y'all.
Look at those.
Bye.
Oh, are we still rolling?